What's going on, everybody? This is your boy Moses from the Entertainment Plaza Games. Today we are back with some more weekly news. I'm with my brother from another mother, Brian. What's going on, bro? Not much, man. Just trying to get some more news out. It's been about a little over a week since we've done anything, but we got a few short stories for our fans today. Hopefully, they like what we have for them. But before we get to that, we need to tell them about youtube.com/the Entertainment Plaza. We need to tell them about twitch.tv/the Entertainment Plaza, where they're probably watching it right now. We need to tell them about Spotify, Apple Podcasts, Stitcher, Google Podcasts. We're on all podcast services around the globe. And also Instagram, Facebook, Twitter, TikTok. We everywhere. So make sure to go on there, like our podcast, leave 5 stars, leave a comment, subscribe, all that jazz. But enough of that. On to our first story. And believe it or not, this one has to do about Google Stadia. Yes, that is still a thing. Believe it or not, Google Stadia. So the first story goes a little something like this. The Stadia superfans still clocking thousands of hours on the service everyone thought was dead. What is it about Google's beleaguered streaming service that keeps certain gamers captivated? Google Stadia hasn't really been in the mainstream spotlight since its high-profile launch in 2019. First of all, I can't believe it's been already 3 years since that. Honestly, I thought it feels like it came out yesterday. You know what I mean? But it goes on to say, and outside of bad news and poor reviews, it mainly disappeared from most gaming sites and YouTube channels. But the players who've invested hundreds or even thousands of hours into Google's video game streaming service don't seem to care what others think. To them, Google Stadia is the perfect solution to a hobby that they feel has become too expensive, complicated, and restrictive. For most of you reading this, Google Stadia is that cloud-based streaming video game service Google launched a few years ago, which may or may not be around still. It's likely not something you engage with beyond reading occasional stories on Kotaku and other sites about how poorly things are going for the streaming service. From high-ranking execs bailing to reports of Google entirely ditching the platform, Stadia hasn't had a great few years in the press, and some gamers seem to outright hate it. But after 3 rough years, lawsuits, and studio closures, Stadia is still alive and kicking, still getting new features and updates. One would assume that means some people are still paying for and using Google Stadia in 2022. And perhaps your first question might be, why? The Stadia superfans. So it goes on to talk about a guy named Marco. Marco, a married father of a 16-month-old boy who... What? Oh, okay. That, yeah. First of all, yes, it is sort of someone's life story, but it sounded like he was married to a 16-month-old boy, and that's why I started laughing. I was like, wait, hold on, what's going on here? But Marco, a married father of a 16-month-old boy who lives in Europe, told me that every free minute he has is precious, and modern consoles just don't work for his daily life. Whenever I start up my PS4 right now, I always have updates, Marco said. Even though I use rest mode, I sometimes need to wait 15 minutes to play. While that may not seem like a lot, for Marco it could be nearly half his free time that night. The updating is hell, he said. But with Google Stadia, there are no updates for games, as that is all handled on Google servers. There are also no installations or large downloads. You just hit play, and a few moments later, the game is going, and that's that. And this speed and lack of downtime is a key factor for why so many players I spoke to keep playing Stadia. The tech is so good, Dead Dog 52 said. A Stadia player with 1,800 hours invested into the service. Starts up quick and plays great. I often forget I'm not playing on local hardware. But for Dead Dog 52, it's not just Stadia speed that has kept him coming back to play day after day. Another big factor is how much cheaper and flexible Stadia is for him and his family compared to consoles. After years of owning and playing multiple consoles, he grew tired of it all. When consoles come out, they are expensive and hard to get. Then there are the disappointing consoles. Even a successful console only has about 5 years before it starts collecting dust. Then the storage space issues and frequent downloads started to irritate me. But what really bothered me was the loud noise my console fan would make. But it keeps on going. The fact of the matter is, one, it's been 3 years. Yes, we've only heard negative things about, Stadia. And the fact that it's still kind of going strong, yeah, does it have the same amount of players as Sony or Xbox or Switch? No, obviously it doesn't. But the fact that all you need is a controller and either a Chromecast or you can play on your computer or PC. It's keeping people in there. Have you actually ever dabbled in anything like Google Stadia or something along those lines? Yeah, definitely. Right. Yeah, it's crazy. It is definitely thriving, and I mean, I wonder what the like the player install is right now for Stadia. Like, how many people are still actively playing games on there, concurrently? You know what I mean? Like, am I? How about now? Oh, okay, I was probably a little bit too far away from my mic, but yeah, the install base on Google Stadia. Like, again, I can't imagine it being anywhere near what Xbox has, or even what's PlayStation has. Here's the thing. Yes, they may have still a lot of players, playing some of these games, but what's happening here soon? Xbox is coming out with the Game Pass stick or whatever, the little dongle that you can play with. Little dongle you can play with. The little dongle you can plug in and play, your Game Pass games with. But also, you can get the Game Pass app on all 2022 Samsung TVs now. So right now that's in beta, but that's coming out very soon where you can just stream games to that. And all you need is an Xbox One or Xbox Series X controller. So I feel like as much as this is a feel good story for the Stadia, I think their time is still, very near the end, because Xbox knows what they're doing. Microsoft has, all this money to invest in, cloud streaming. They own a lot of this cloud streaming, along with Google. Don't get it wrong. They want two giant companies, but when Xbox perfects the dongle or the app for the Samsung TV, and there's rumors of it coming out for other TVs in the future, like LG and Sony and all that. Like, they're even talking with Sony about putting this app on there. Stadia's probably done. You know what I mean? Because you pay that $15 a month for Game Pass Ultimate, you get 150 games off the back. At least there are 150 games for console. You get so many more games for PC. And if you can just pick up your controller and you're just playing, you don't have to worry about expensive console. You don't have to worry about updates and this and that. It's just cloud streaming. Stadia's, unfortunately, they're pretty much dead to rights, because Xbox is going to take over. They have the games, they have the money to do it, and they have the namesake for it. So, but it is good to see that people are still playing Stadia. You know what I mean? I actually want to grab a Stadia controller. They're super cheap, just to have it as a collectible, because I really do feel like they're going to go the way of the Valve controller and the I don't know if you remember the Ouya, a little tiny square box. The controller was dope. I actually almost bought one on eBay the other day. I was like, you know what? Just hold off. You don't need this right now, Moses. But yeah, it's crazy to think that Stadia is still going strong. But moving on to my next story. Today's gonna be a short one, guys. But as we have all probably already predicted, the PS4 outsold the Xbox One. Right? The Xbox One, it came out limping, unfortunately, and the PS4 came out, it hit the ground running. Xbox was almost $100 more expensive than the PS4 from launch, because they bundled the Kinect. I still bought it, don't get me wrong. They were focusing more on media and TV and everything but games they were focusing on. And then the big thing was that, the big downfall was, initially you couldn't just trade your games. You couldn't just, let somebody borrow your game. So what did Sony do? Their press conference was literally, I believe it was a day after Xbox press conference at E3 2011, I believe it was. Sony says, well, $399 instead of $499. They talked only about games because they knew that everybody knew there's already Blu-ray in here. You can still watch TV on here. All the streaming apps, they're going to be on there. They focused on games. And then the one thing they did, they just buried Xbox. They said, this is how you share a game with a friend. And they handed over the disc to the other guy. And it killed Xbox from the get-go. But now it's finally coming out. You know, Xbox never really reveals their sales numbers for some reason. Why, I don't know. But this article is from Zach Swisen on Kotaku, and it says PS4 sold twice as well as Xbox One, Microsoft reveals. So Microsoft is, you know, admitting to this. New court documents out of Brazil reveal that the PS4 was far more successful than the Xbox One. For years, Microsoft has refused to share sales numbers for its Xbox consoles, leaving us in the dark on just how well or poorly they have sold compared to PlayStation and Nintendo's machines. But now, new court documents reveal that the PS4 reportedly sold more than twice as well as the Xbox One, according to Microsoft. Microsoft launched the Xbox One in 2013 with a focus on TV, Connect, and multimedia entertainment. See, told you, I wasn't lying. This ended up sinking the console's early years as Sony's contemporary console at the time. The PlayStation 4 focused entirely on games, leading to lopsided sales in favor of Sony. Eventually, Xbox One backed away from all the TV stuff, and Microsoft stopped reporting sales numbers for the console a few years after its messy release. The information about the Xbox One was first spotted by Game Luster in documents submitted by Microsoft to Brazil's national competition regulator. The Verge was able to translate the docs, which revealed that Sony sold more than twice as many PS4 consoles compared to Microsoft's last-gen Xbox. Sony has surpassed Microsoft in terms of console sales and install base, having sold more than twice as many Xbox consoles in the last generation, confirmed Microsoft in the court docs uploaded earlier this month. While most people and analysts out there figured the Xbox One had not sold as well as the PS4, hearing it from Microsoft is still interesting as the company stopped reporting Xbox sales numbers back in 2016. It's also wild to hear just how large of a gap there appears to be between the Xbox One and PS4, with Sony's last-gen home console selling more than twice as many compared to Xbox. The court docs are part of an ongoing legal journey for Microsoft as it continues to face scrutiny from various regulatory groups and governments around the world over its controversial and massive Activision Blizzard buyout. So, it goes on to say, doing some napkin math, Sony last reported that the lifetime sales of the PS4 were just over 117 million. So the Xbox One sold less than 58 million. The actual number of Xbox One consoles sold is probably closer to 55 million based on past research from analysis. Here are some comparable numbers. The Xbox 360 sold 84 million in 2014, as of 2014. The Wii U sold about 13 million. So the Xbox One falls comfortably between these two past machines. So, I mean, there's a lot more to this article, but, you know, first of all, what are your thoughts about this? And then I'll go into mine. Right. Right. Yeah. With digital only, yes, with digital only. Yep. Yep. Yeah. 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 I mean, yeah, they absolutely dominated that generation as far as, PS4 and Xbox goes. You really can't count Nintendo there because Nintendo kind of goes by the beat of their own drum. They had the Wii U, they only sold 13 million, but during the PS4, Xbox One generation, they released the Switch and it's selling well, but that's beside the point. Xbox completely botched it, from the get-go, and unfortunately it was too late when they decided to not include the Kinect, with the Xbox, and that was actually less than a year later. And they're like, all right, now the Xbox is the same price as the PS4, but PS4 sold. And then let's talk about the games. There was a million amazing games for the PS4, and I honestly really can't think of a great game for the Xbox that came out. Halo 5 came out, and that was horrible. The campaign was one of the weakest Halo campaigns ever. It was probably the weakest. I played them all. Online was okay, but it got better over time. But I mean, then you talk about the PS4, you got Last of Us, you got the Uncharted, you got, I mean, it's just the God of Wars, you know what I mean? Like, so many games that it's just like, dude, what's the Xbox doing? Now, let's go on to this generation, right? Xbox is doing their thing, They got the Series X, they got the Series S, which was so smart of them to do, to make the Series S at $300. And every now and then you can find them on sale now for like $260, $250. And if you're looking for one, they're in stores. Like, you can get them in stores now. Yeah. You're starting to see Series X in stores more often. And actually, some stores very faintly, but you can find some PS5s. But we're still talking about, even this generation. What's the main game for Xbox? That's Halo Infinite. Freaking game plays amazing. I mean, this game from the get-go, they did something that a lot of people haven't been able to do. Release a game that's complete. Albeit it was delayed a year, but it ran well. I can't say complete because there wasn't co-op campaign. There wasn't Forge mode. They released with like 6 maps. We got like 8 now. You know what I mean? So it released to critical acclaim, but then it got boring after 3 or 4 months. I still love playing the game because I'm playing with friends, but if I'm playing by myself, I'm bored. And we're almost a year in, and still the updates are far and few between. Now we go to PS5. We got Ratchet and Clank. We got the new Last of Us Part 1 coming out again. We got God of War coming out. We got Ghost of Tsushima that they re-release. Returnal. I mean, the games again. Here we go. It's about the games, right? So, you can't really find any of these consoles in stock, but I'm pretty sure Sony is still outselling Xbox. So, and the install base is amazing. Now, what does Xbox have? They have Xbox Game Pass. That Xbox Game Pass is amazing. Let's just leave it there. Everything comes out day one on Xbox Game Pass, then we're straight. But PS5 now has that competitor, sort of, kind of. Not really, but they're getting to the point where they're trying to compete with Game Pass. But unfortunately, fortunately, there's good competition is good. So yeah, they sold almost 60 million, 55, 60 million. That's still a lot of consoles. You know what I mean? And Microsoft can afford to not be the winner in a console war. So now that we're in this generation, they seem to be freaking killing it with the Series S. They're killing it with the Series X, and Game Pass is only getting better. And honestly, man, I love Game Pass. Like, I barely turn on my PS5 because why spend $70 on the game? Don't get me wrong, I'm getting God of War. I'll get GTA 6 or whatever, whenever that comes out for the PlayStation. But Game Pass is what's making me come back. You know what I mean? Especially with that Series S at only $300. But yeah, man, that's it's nuts that they barely even sold freaking 55 million in that generation. But we're gonna move on to another story here, and this actually has a lot to do, kind of in the same general area. A lot of stories are coming out of Brazil. They came out that Sony said no one can compete with Call of Duty, which is true. You really can't compete with Call of Duty. It's the quintessential first-person shooter. But now Microsoft is accusing Sony of paying publishers to keep games off of Xbox Game Pass, which I freaking find hilarious. This article is written by Paul Tassi from Forbes, and it says console exclusivity for games has taken many forms over the years. There are the basics. You have an in-house studio that makes games for your hardware specifically, but in recent years, this escalated into things like console-specific content within games or paying for timed exclusive launch windows. Now, things may have escalated in the ongoing battle between Microsoft and Sony, with an explosive new claim made. As part of the regulatory approval process of Microsoft attempting to buy Activision Blizzard, Microsoft has pushed back against Sony's recent objection to the purchase. Sony's argument was that the purchase would be anti-competitive to PlayStation, with such a big publisher under Microsoft's umbrella, but now Microsoft is firing back. Hard. Pause. Microsoft has accused Sony of paying for blocking rights to keep third-party games off of Game Pass. Microsoft's ability, and Microsoft goes on to say, Microsoft's ability to continue expanding Game Pass has been hampered by Sony's desire to inhibit such growth, Microsoft said in documents filled with Brazil's national competition regulator. Sony pays for blocking rights to prevent developers from adding content to Game Pass and other competing subscription services. No specific games or developers are listed, nor is how much Sony has paid and how often they've done this, but it does feel like the logical extension of the practice of paying for timed exclusivity, where you are effectively paying to keep a game off a rival platform for a period of time. Both Microsoft and Sony have done this in the past. This accusation does feel like an escalation. However, a normal process here would be some sort of bidding war between Sony and Microsoft as to which games get to come to PlayStation Plus or Xbox Game Pass. Microsoft is instead saying that Sony is just paying developers not to come to Game Pass only, apparently meaning that the game would just be sold for full price on both the PlayStation and Xbox ecosystems. It also does not feel out of character for Sony, who has been known to charge developers for crossplay could be implemented using the PlayStation ecosystem. So, first of all, for a long time, I felt like the console wars kind of been over. You get the same game on both consoles. But this feels like it's the beginning of a new console war. It's like World War Part 3, Parte 3, War of Worlds. Yes. The console wars are back. How do you feel about Sony paying to keep games off of Game Pass? Yeah. Right. 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 Yeah. Yeah. I think and the crazy thing is too that they're also just paying to not necessarily have it for an exclusive, but just to keep it off of Game Pass so that it can just be a regular game and you choose whether you want to buy it for Xbox or buy it for PlayStation. Not necessarily, oh, it's on Game Pass, let me try it. You know what I mean? In that case, if you're going to try it, I'm like, oh, I'll just try it for PlayStation, and then there's money in their pocket. So that's crazy. I find that freaking crazy that they would just literally, I'm going to pay you just to not put it on Game Pass. I don't care if you buy for Xbox or PlayStation, preferably PlayStation. but as long as you don't get it with your subscription to the Xbox Game Pass, it is nuts. Like that's crazy. Like the console wars are definitely back. You know what I mean? Like these court filings are freaking amazing with the whole Activision Blizzard acquisition, and you know the fact that Sony is just like, yo, you know, you might be Microsoft, you might be the one of the richest people in the world, richest corporations, but we are what games, we are games. And so I love seeing this, and everything's coming out of freaking like Brazil. No other country, because they had to actually do these go through these regulators in a lot of different countries, you know what I mean? And but everything's coming out of Brazil, so it's freaking amazing. But enough about Sony and Xbox. We're gonna go on to our final story, and we've been waiting a little bit to talk about this, so I'm gonna toss that over to you. Go. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. For real. Nope. Yeah, we've been asking for it for a while. Oh man. Hmm. Oh, that's cool then. Right. Hmm. Is that something new to the game? Is that something new to the game where you can go to any gym at any point? Oh, that's cool. Right. Okay. Wow. Yeah. That's nuts. Right. Yeah. A dog. Yep, I figured. Oh, that's cool. Yeah. Hmm. Hmm. Oh wow. Yeah, it'd be nice to be like just be surprised. Yeah, exactly. Nice. Okay. Hmm. Nice. Yeah. Okay. Hmm. That's dope. Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, I'm actually looking at that. That's literally where the video is now, and yeah, they look. It looks dope. They almost look like crystal figurines. You know what I mean? Like when you see them at like a jewelry store or something, they look like crystal figurines. Yeah, exactly. China. Yeah, a few more months. Yeah, that's about it. Yeah, yeah. So you better get that God of War done. You got 5 days to finish God of War before you got these two games you got to put 300 hours in. Sheesh. Wow. That's crazy. Hey, people do it on all type of games. You know what I mean? So that's the get type of game. I personally have never put that much time in any game. Like I'll beat a campaign. Some I will want to get the trophies and get the platinum like the Spider Mans and the God of Wars. But past that, that's it for me. Yeah. Right. Right. Dare I say that you gotta catch them all. Yeah, you don't want me to do that rap that I did at work. Oh man. But yeah, man, that sounds dope, man. It sounds like it's just like the genre is only getting better. They're going away from the whole turn based type thing, which is great because turn based is so boring to me, dude. Like that's why it's hard. This might actually be one of the Pokemon games that I would like. I might have to try one of them out. You know what I mean? Do my own save or something and let me borrow one. But turn based for me, it really turns me off. So we'll see. Maybe I'll actually start getting into Pokemon. But there you go. There you go. Hell yeah. Yeah, it was. Yeah, it was nice to have that direct finally. You know what I mean? They were able to show a bit more, not just Scarlet and Violet, about Pokemon Unite, Pokemon Go, Pokemon Mystery DX. I mean, they showed a lot. So unfortunately, those directs take place at 6 a.m. because it's at it's so freaking late. You know what I mean? I mean, so freaking early. But when in Japan, it's probably, I don't know, 13 hours. It's probably 6 p.m. over there, whatever it is. But I'm glad you were able to catch it and bring the news to all of our fans and everybody that watches our shows. So I can't wait to hear your review on these games, because it looks like they're really taking the best of Legends and the best of Pokemon, the general game, and combining them and making like an ultimate Pokemon experience. So, but only time will tell. I know I'll be playing God of War. I know I'm gonna be playing Modern Warfare. Looks dope. You know what I mean? I'll definitely be playing that. So, but yeah, man. With that being said, I think that's all we got for today. Like always, guys, I really appreciate you guys tuning in. Right now, you are watching on twitch.tv/The Entertainment Plaza. This will be up on YouTube shortly, probably less than an hour. Go check us out at youtube.com/The Entertainment Plaza, or just search The Entertainment Plaza Podcast. This will also be on Stitcher, Google Podcasts, Apple Podcasts, Spotify. Go check us out there. All podcast services around the world, it will be there. Give us 5 stars, comment, on YouTube, subscribe, follow us on Twitch, and then all social medias. We will be there for you, posting and hosting. But for my brother Brian, I'm Moses. We'll see you next time. Peace.